Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's time for some mathematics. All right, here we go. We are picking up in lesson, boom, 97. It's Friday Fun Day. Here we go. Lesson 97, page 720. So while you're getting your books out, I'm going to go over some of the things you're going to be learning today. One of the things we're going to be doing is using percentages to name parts of a group. I think this might be one of those kinds of problems when we get to example number 2. We're also going to be using fractions and percents to compare data of different sizes. So that's going to be example number 4 right here. Now, you should have your book out. You should have your book open. If your book's not out, it's not open, please get it out. Please get it open so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm telling you guys how to do these problems. It is super duper important. All right, here we go. Top of page 720. Percent is a word that means out of 100. Now, if we read that 50% of all Americans drive cars, we understand that 50 out of every 100 Americans drives cars. Likewise, the statement 10% of the population is left-handed. That would not be me. Means that 10 out of every 100 people are left-handed. When we say percent, we speak as though there were 100 in the group. However, we may say percent even when we know there are more than or less than 100 in that group. Like fractions, percents name parts of a whole. We've used fraction manipulatives to learn the percents that are equivalent to some fractions. In this lesson, we will learn how to find percents for other fractions by renaming the fractions with the denominator of 100. And so I've already set a few of these up like that, and we're going to roll through them. So example number 1 right here says, if 8 of the 20 students are boys, what percent of the students are boys? Now, we wrote it as a fraction, 8 over 20, right? Now, I know to turn a number into a percentage, or a fraction into percentage, I gotta change it to over 100, right? Now, 20 times what gives us 100? Let's see. Mariah, help me out on this one. 20 times what equals 100? Go ahead and yell it out nice and loud. There you go. 20 times 5. Now, if I multiply the bottom times 5, what do I got to do on the top? Got to do the exact same thing. So, Mariah, what's 8 times 5? We can count them by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There it is. Good job, Mariah. Now, Mariah, easy peasy. 40 over 100, what percent? There you go. I heard you say it. 40%. Awesome job. Sweet, that takes us to number 2 already. Like, we're flying through this thing. It's just an easy lesson. Now, example number 2 says there's 400 beads, and 60 of those beads are red. What percent were the red beads? So let's write as a fraction, right? 60 over 400. Easy peasy. Now, we need to make this equation equal to a fraction that has 100 as our denominator. Now, am I going to multiply 400 times something that equals 100? I think maybe like 0.25, but let's divide instead. It'll be easier. Now, 400 divided by what equals 100? Let's see. Chase, help me out, bro. All right. So what am I going to divide 400 by that gives us 100? There you go. I heard you say it. 4. Now, just like we did up here, if we do it on the bottom, we got to do it on the top, right, Chase? Okay, so if I divide it by 4 here, that means I got to divide by 4 up here. Ooh, 60 divided by 4. We'll put it over here, because that is kind of a tricky one, right? 60 divided by 4. So, Chase, how many times is 4 going to 6? I heard you say it. Nice work. And that gives us 2, right? And we drop our 0. And then 4 goes into 20 how many times, bro? Sweet. 5 times. That's 0. So that means we got 15 over 100. All right, so Chase, 15 over 100. What percent's that, bud? Yeah, we don't want to see that percent on a test or a quiz, do we? All right, yeah, that's right. That'd be 15%. Because remember, any number over 100 is that percent. Sweet. Let's look at let's read before we do example 3, because there's a little bit of book reading there. Now it says some fractions are not easily renamed as parts of 100. So this is easy. This is easy. 20 times 5 is 100. You know, if we have a 10, 10 times 10 is 100. That's easy to figure out. Now if I have the fraction 1/6, I'll put it down here. Now if I have 1/6 and I'm trying to make it equal to something over 100, 6 doesn't go into 100 evenly. So that gives us a problem. So the other option, let me erase that, get rid of that. The other option is to go ahead and we're going to multiply by 100%. Now, we got to make it a fraction to be able to multiply, right? So let's multiply. We put a 1 underneath. 1 times 100 is 100%. And then we're dividing by 6. So we got to work that out. So 6 goes into 100. 6 goes into 10 how many times? Let's see, who could help me out here? Melissa. Melissa, help me out. 6 goes into 10 one time, right, Melissa? And then we put that 6 here. We subtract. What's 10 minus 6, Melissa? That's right. Then we drop our 0. 6 goes into 40 how many times? There you go. 6 times 6, 36, right? Nice. We're going to borrow from this 4. It becomes a 3. That becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. And then we write it 4/6. So we have 10 and 4/6%. Now, a couple of the questions on the test got you guys because you forgot to reduce the fractions. So let's reduce that fraction, right? Because 4/6, I can make it smaller. They're both even, right? So we can take that down and it would be 16 and, Melissa, what do you think it reduces to? There you go, divide both by 2, huh? So that gives us 16 and 2/3%. Now, yeah, 1/6 of 100, that's hard to do, but hey, we just did it. It's not bad. Now, if this was 2/6, then this would have been 200/6. If that was 4/6, then it would have been 400/6, because you're going to multiply across the top, and then also multiply across the bottom. Cool? All right, let's do a couple more. So here's example 3. So it asks us, the team won 2/3 of the game. What percent of their games did they win? So we have 2/3 of 100%. So 2 times 100 is 200%. Put my percent sign on it. And then 3 times 1 is 3. Notice we made it a fraction by putting a 1 under that 100%. Super duper key, don't forget that. Now, all we got to do is divide. Let's jump over to my class. Let's see. Cassidy. Cassidy, help me out on this one. Now, 3 goes into 2. 0 times. Doesn't go in, does it? Now, 3 goes into 20. How many times, though? It goes in there. I'll give you a second. Let's see. 3 times 5 was 15. We can go bigger, right? What would 3 times 6 be? There you go. 18. So let's go with that. So there's 18. We do a little borrowing. That becomes a 10. There's another 20. We drop this 0. Now, 3 goes into 20. Hey, then we just did that. It was 6. There's 18 again. And there's our remainder. So we got to write our remainder as a fraction, right, Cassidy? What was it going to be? Where's that 2 go? Right on top. And then we divide it by the 3. So that 3 goes on the bottom. So 2/3 would be 66 and 2/3%. Now 1/3 is just half that, 33 1/3. Those are ones we need to have memorized because those ones you will use a lot, you know, for the rest of your elementary, junior high, and high school career. So commit those ones to memory. 1/3, 33 1/3%, 2/3, 66 and 2/3%. Awesome. Go ahead and turn to page 722. We are on to example number 4. Now, example number 4 says, in Mrs. Langston's first grade class, 14 out of 20 students belong to an after-school club. In Mr. Rodriguez's class, he's got 12 out of 16 students that belong to the after-school club. Now, we need to turn these things into percentages to try to figure out which classroom has more students in the clubs, the after-school club. Now, I set up both fractions. I put a little L for Langston, a little R for Rodriguez. All right, here we go. Now, 20 times what gives us that 100? Yosua, help me out here, bro. 20 times what gives us that 100? There you go, 20 times 5. Awesome. Now, if I multiply the bottom times 5, I got to do the top times 5. Sweet, man. What is 5 times 14? Think about that. 5 times 4. Carry that 2. And then we got 5 times 1 plus 2. Okay, sweet. That'd be 70, right? All right, so Miss Langston's class has 70% of her students going to that after-school class. Now, check out this one. Now, 16 is one of those numbers that does not go into 100 evenly. So let's reduce it first. What number goes into both 12 and 16? Think about it, Yosua. Let's think of the factors of 12. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Boom, 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 boom. And then we got 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. What's our greatest common factor right there? Awesome, 4. So let's reduce by 4. So Yosua, what's 12 divided by 4? What's 16 divided by 4? Now, do I need to turn 3/4 into a fraction over 100? I could. But I think you guys should all know what 3/4 equals as a percentage. If you have 3/4 of a dollar, what percent of a dollar do you have? There you go. Yell it out, Yosua. Sweet. So, whose class had the greatest percentage in the after-school club? Boom. Mr. Rodriguez. Awesome. Cool. We're going to set up. I'm going to get this set up for some of our lesson practice problems, and then we'll go over some of the questions from the homework. Hey, welcome back. Here we go. Lesson practice time. Let's see. We got A. We got 120. Hold on. We got 120 of the 200 students are girls, and what percent would be girls? So 120 out of 200. Now, are we going to multiply or divide to reduce this down? Reagan, help me out. What do you think we're going to do? That's right. We got to divide. Now, what am I going to divide 200 by to get 100? Go ahead, yell it out, Reagan. We got to divide by 2. So, we do it by 2 on the bottom, we got to do it by 2 on the top. Right. Now, what's 120 divided by 2? 2 goes into 12 6 times. And then 2 goes into 0 0 times, right, Reagan? So, Reagan, what's 60 over 100? What percent? 60%. Awesome job. Here we go. B. If 10 of the 50 apples are green, what percent of the apples are green? Shane, help me out. Awesome. So, we got to go 50 times what to get us to 100, Shane? What do you think? I heard you. 2. Nice. So, we got to multiply the top number times 2 also. Now, 10 times 2, what's that equal, Shane? 20. Now, 20 over 100, what percent is that, bud? Nice. 20%. Awesome. Now, C. Check out C. 60 out of 300 would be what percent? John, C, go for it, bro. What do you think? Are we going to multiply or divide to get that 300 down to a 100? There you go. You got to divide. Now, what are we going to divide 300 by to get to 100? Go ahead and say it, John. Say it louder. 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 All right, there you go. Sweet. There's that 3. Now, if you divide by 3 in the bottom, you got to do it on the top, remember? So, 60 divided by 3 equals what? Go ahead. Yell it out. 3 goes into 6. How many times? Yeah, there's 2. And then 3 goes into 0. How many times? There's 0. So, our percentage would be 20%. All right, sweet. This is pretty easy, right, guys? Now, 48 over 200. It says 48 out of 200 would be what percent? Okay, now same thing. Since we got 200, we got to make it 100. We got to divide, don't we? Allie, help me out here. So if I'm going to divide, what am I going to divide 200 by to get 100? There you go, 2. And so if we do it by, divide by 2 on the bottom, what we got to do on the top? Yep, got to divide by 2 again. Awesome. So 48 divided by 2 would be how much? Okay, 2 goes into 4 2 times. Nice, Allie, nice, I like it. And then 2 goes into 8 how many times? 4. Now, 24 over 100, what percent's that? There you go, yell it loud. Yep, I won't let your parents know you're doing it. Yell it nice and loud. Uh-huh. There you go, 24%. Nice. Now, E, it says 30 out of 50 would be what percent? So we got 30 out of 50. We got to make it equal to 100. Now, 50 is smaller than 100, so I know I need to multiply to get up to 100. Now, 50 times what gives us 100? Mikey, help me out, bro. 50 times what gets us to 100? What do you think? That's a pretty easy one too, huh? Times 2. Now, 30, we got to go 30 times 2 because we multiplied by 2 on the bottom, right? All right, Mikey, 30 times 2, bro. It's easy, right? What's it give us? 60. Now, 60 over 100 is just that percent. 60%. Sweet, 1/2. Wow, this like easy peasy Mr. Poolsy right here. Gavin, go ahead and help me out here, bro. If I have 1/2 of the people ate lunch, so what percent ate lunch? Really, I don't even think we have to do this. We should all know what a half equals, but we're going to do it anyways. So, Gavin, 2 times what gives us 100? Yup, 50. So we got to go by 50 on the top. 1 times 50 is 50. 50 over 100 is what percent, Gavin? Yo, lads, little brother hears you. There you go. 50%. Nice. Now, G starts to get a little tricky. It says 5 minutes is 1/12 of an hour. So, what fraction would what percent would 1/12 of an hour be? Now, we got 1/12, and we're looking at 100% of an hour. So, we got to go 1 times 100, right? So that gives us 100 over 12. So we got to divide 12 into 100 right there. Now 12 doesn't go into 10, right? It doesn't work. So I know 10 times 12 would be 120. That'd be too big. Now what would 12 times 9 be? Joseph, help me out. What would 12 times 9 be? So you think 99 plus 9 would be 10, there you go, 108, right? So 9's too big, so let's drop down one, Joseph. Let's try out an 8. What is 8 times 2, Joseph? There's 16. We carry the 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Now, we got to do all kinds of borrowing here. So we're going to borrow from that, becomes 0, this becomes a 10, we're going to make it a 9, and then it's going to make that last 0 a 10. Now 10 minus 6 is 4, so we end up with 8 and 4 12ths. Now, can I leave that 4 12ths that way, Joseph? Nuh-uh. We gotta change it. We gotta reduce that thing. Now, what number goes into both 4 and 12, Joseph? What's the greatest common factor between those two? I heard you say it is 4. So when we reduce, that becomes 8 and 1/3%. Now, awesome. That's it. All right, last one. Here we go. We got Miss Yao's class. She's got 11 out of 12 students, or 11 out of 20 students are boys. Now, Mrs. Jackson's class, she's got 3 out of 5. All right, let's turn these things into a fraction over 100 to try to figure out the percentage to see which class has a greater percentage of boys right here. Grayson M, help me out, bro. All right, so we're going to multiply 20 times what? Nice, 20 times 5. Now, if we do it on the bottom, we got to do it on the top, right? Go ahead and multiply times 5 again. Now, 11 times 5, Grayson, what's that equal, bro? So there's our percent. So Mrs. V's class, she's got 55% of her class is boys. All right, let's do the same thing here for Mrs. J's class. Now, 5 times what will give us 100? Or 100 divided by 5 would be what, Grayson? I heard you say it. 20. So we got to multiply by 20 on the bottom. Got to do it on the top also, right? So let's go 3 times 20. What's that equal, bro? So 60 over 100. What percent? 60%. So whose class has the greater percentage of boys? Yeah, Mrs. J's class. Awesome. I'm going to get rid of this. We're going to go over some of your math questions. So go ahead and grab out that math sheet for tonight's homework so we can crank that stuff out. Sweet. We should have out our math sheet so we can get some of these answers copied down, work through together. You should be doing this work in the box with me and then putting the answer in the small answer box. One of these days I'm hoping to get our math sheets turned into Google Docs so you can just upload them right in there and go from there. Hopefully someday soon. Sweet, let's check out number 5. Number 5, we got a fraction that is 11 over 25, and we are trying to turn it into a percentage. Micah, help me out with this one. Now, 25 times what's going to give us 100 here, Micah? Perfect. 4. Now, we multiply by 4 on the bottom, got to do it on the top, right, Micah? So 11 times 4 is going to give us 44. What percent does that equal? Nice, I knew you'd get it. Beautiful job, 44%. All right, so let's jump to Gracie D. Gracie D, help me out with this one. Now, we had 75 over 300. Now, I gotta reduce this down to get to 100, right? So 300 divided by what is gonna give us 100? Yell it out. Yell it loud so Gavin can hear you. All right, there you go. So yes, that is 3. We're gonna divide by 3. Now, what is 75 divided by 3, Gracie? All right, make sure Wyatt can hear you this time. Say nice and loud. There you go. Sweet, 25. Now, what percent does that equal? There you go, I heard you say it. 25%. Sweet, let's keep going. All right, now this one's a little bit crazy. Let's see, who can I go with for on this one? Bryson, help me out, bro. Okay, so notice we start with the subtraction sign at the beginning, but we're going to use algebraic addition to work this problem out. Now, as we bring this down, that changes to a plus sign, right, Bryson? There you go. How does that change that positive 3? It now becomes a what? I heard you say it. -3. Now, I know this is minus a positive 5, so as we drop down, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make it a plus sign, but now it changes that positive 5 to you said it, -5. I'm going to put parentheses around it just so I don't get mixed up. Now, plus a -4, that's sweet. It's a plus sign. We just bring all this straight down. It does not change at all. Same with that plus 3. It just comes right down, right, Bryson? So plus 3. Now, here we go. We got a bunch of negative numbers. We're adding them together, which just means they become more and more negative. So -3 plus -5. Say it. There you go, -8. And then we got -8 plus -4. So it's getting even more negative. What's that going to be, Bryson? -12. So we had -8 plus -4 equals -12 plus 3. So that's a positive 3. So now we're going to go back towards the positive side. Not very far because it was only a positive 3. But when we add that positive 3, it takes us to negative what? It's going to be single digit number. There you go, 9. So that takes us to -9. Sweet. Good work, Bryson. All right, Ava. Help me out, Ava. So we bring this first, we got a division problem. There's one like this on the test, at least one, maybe 2 that you guys just took this week. So this first fraction just drops straight down, right? 3 over 2. Now we're going to change it to multiplication. We're going to do our little flip-a-doo, right? We're doing the reciprocal of 2/3. So when we flip that fraction upside down, that becomes 3 over 2. Awesome. Now, Ava, multiply this for me. What's 3 times 3? Equals 9. And then what is 2 times 2? 4. Now, Ava, can I leave it this way? Oh, I gotta work this out. I gotta make this a mixed number, right? All right, so Ava, 4 goes into 9 how many times? 2. Now that leaves us, let's see, 2 times 4 is 8, so 9 minus 8 would be 1. Awesome, so we gotta write that 1 at the top, right? And then what numbers go on the bottom, Ava? That 4, because that's what we're dividing by. Awesome. Beautiful. Now check out number 27. We got this looking shape right here, and they want the volume. I didn't write out the dimensions because it's in your book. You can figure it out. Now, I just wanted to give you the equation for volume. Remember, it's your length times your width times your height. And then you're going to label it centimeters cubed because we have centimeter, centimeter, and centimeter again. All right, so you got 3 centimeters, centimeter, centimeter, centimeter. So you got to put the little 3 as your exponent. Now, for B, I think B on that question was asking you what was, I think, the number of faces. I drew mine with the back line so you could see that there's a face on the back and there's a face down here at the end. So don't just say 3 faces because 3 faces is wrong. All right, cool. And then vertices. I think C was asking us for vertices. Now remember, a vertice is just where the lines meet and make a point. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's some more. You can figure it out yourself because you guys are super smart. All right. Now let's jump to problem 29. Just want to give you a couple tips on problem 29. Now A, remember when you're finding the median, you got to put them all in order. I did it for you. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when you have an even number in your median, you got to add the top, the 2 in the middle. You got to add them together and then divide by 2. So if you do that, 4 plus 5, that's 9. You divide by 2, it's going to give you a mixed number, or it could be a decimal number. Either way you want to write it, that would be great. And then B and C for that problem, you guys can figure that out. Just read it closely. It's not really that hard. Now, 30. 30A, I gave you the distance because I don't know if you guys have a ruler at home that you could use. Maybe you left it at school. Who knows? So I went ahead and give you A because you'll have to use A to solve B. Haha, see what I did there? So I gave you guys A. B you'll have to figure out based on that 3/4 of an inch. There's 3 sides. They all look to be the same to me. Now for C you have to name that triangle based on the length of the sides. If they're all the same, what kind of triangle is that called? I think you should remember if all the sides are equal. See what I did there? All right, and then for the other part of C, it says name it based on the angles on the inside. So is it an obtuse triangle? Is it an acute triangle? Is it a right triangle? Any one of those 3. So you got to either put acute, right, or obtuse, or you got to say it's isosceles, equilateral, or scalene based on the length of the sides. So I think you guys should be able to crank that out, and I'll see you guys next week. Any questions? Remember, shoot them to me, mr.poole@wcss.org or mrs.phillips@wcss.org. And hey, I'll get that. I'll try, for the people that have been shooting lots of messages my way, I've been trying to get back to you within the same day, usually within the same hour, as long as I'm not cranking out videos or whatever. So hit me up with questions if there's a problem you guys don't get. All right, check you later.